Hello everyone, welcome back. I've brought in another forest. This is my goat willow forest. Just to give it a bit of a clean up and again weed it. Maybe give the trees a little pruning where they might need it. Things like that. Clean the trunks, get the moss off it. Basically get it ready for winter. And again, get it so it looks a little bit half decent and it's not a big massive weeds like that. And like I said before on my videos, it's not just for shows. You want to be keeping your trees nice. You know, you're going to be looking at your trees every day yourself, so just because the trees have all decided to take a break for the winter doesn't mean we can't at least make the landscapes look a bit nice and stuff, so it's still nice to look at them. Okay, so the first thing I'll do is probably work on the trees because I'll be dropping stuff on the landscape anyway, so I may as well work on the trees and then we'll do the landscape. Okay, so put your glasses on for this job. We'll start with this little tree at this side. Now these were all basically just collected whips and things that I just collected around the place. They grow everywhere really here, like weeds. They just pop up. I have them even growing in some of my pots. You just get little tiny thin little twigs growing. What is that? Some sort of a caterpillar. Didn't think you would get caterpillars this time of year. Unusual. Get rid of him. Yeah, so they kind of grow a bit wild here, everywhere and stuff. This one here, the main tree, this was actually growing in the top of a bin. We had a bin at work which had just old foam and stuff in it ready, and it was behind a shed, forgotten about for quite a while, and the lid was open and the bin filled with water, and this was just sitting on the top. The seed must have dropped in on the foam, and this was growing out the top of it, and it had a nice root spread because it was growing on like a flat piece of stuff. So it was about 10-15 feet tall, just a big long straight thing. So I cut it, which was here. That was obviously flat when I cut it, but slowly but surely it's turned, and this is taken over as the top. And we just grow all the branches in, and then the other ones, again, just ones that have been growing around either in my pots. I've picked out the pots and stuff. Like some of these I planted the last time I was working on this. Again, these were just little thin ones and they seem to grow pretty easily. Okay, so we'll start with this tree first. Take off any of the dead bits on it. Kind of dropped a few branches this here and there. We'll just prune these branches back a bit. I kind of prefer prune this when it's in leaf, so you can see where it's filling out and stuff, because they grow quite a lot and they grow in all kinds of weird directions. So when it's in leaf, at least you can decide where you want to fill out and stuff. And you kind of need to keep on top of the pruning on them, because like that they will send out just big long shoots if you don't. And they thicken up quite fast. As you can see, there's quite a thick branch up here and here because they grow a bit long, so you got to keep on top of it. So I'm basically just going in, taking anything that's dead, just reducing some of the branches back a bit for ramification. Like this one here, now we've got quite a bit of a lump growing, so we'll take off this whole piece here, take that out. We have a branch behind it. It's hard to know, some of them are, no one's dead anyway. They do bud out and send out branches quite easily, so you don't have to worry about branches dying. They does drop branches, but it replaces them pretty easy. So it's kind of a little bit funny, so I'll take that one off. There's one growing straight up here, I'll take that one out. Dead one here we'll take out. Let's take out this tip here. Now we have this big heavier branch up here and another one above it. It's not great, but at the same time, when it's in leaf, it looks quite good. And I don't want to go chopping off big branches like that and leaving big gaps, because you know it's taking quite a long time to grow this. I could maybe reduce it, alright. There's a branch below it here, so I could take off this top bit here, this heavy bit, leaving this branch underneath to fill out. They're quite awkward looking trees without leaves on them. They're kind of more, they wouldn't be a tree you'd show, I'd say, unless it was in leaf. I'll take that one altogether, I think. Take this bottom one off. I'll just juice that one back. This whole top bit here is dead. I'm gonna have this branch back here, but until it buds out back here, I won't take it off completely, just to be safe. I'll let it bud out first, then we'll chop that one back. This one here again, it's very congested at the ends. Just try and thin that out a bit. Maybe I can take that whole branch off there. I hope you can see what I'm doing. Quite tricky because they kind of look dead, but then when you cut them they're not. Branch here, we can probably take this heavy bit off the end. Dead bit here, I think all that is dead there. So we'll do have this one underneath this one I could use, but I think I'll leave it for now. When this thickens up, then we'll take this one out. Just this back branch now. Take out the top of that, and that is more or less it for this tree, I think. Like that for now, we'll leave it at that, and next spring as it's grown we'll just keep on top of the pruning. Keep touching up where it needs to, and then will, like I said, when it fills out it looks a lot more natural like a tree. When it's bare like this, they do tend to look a bit ugly. Okay, so I'll go over all the trees doing that, just pruning them back, tidying them up, take off all the back dead stubs and stuff. There's no need for me to video the whole thing. If I come across anything that I want to show you, I'll do that. But other than that, we'll just go around and trim them all back, and we'll come back then and have a look. Okay, so I think that I'm more or less done. Again, like I said, just a kind of a quick rough pruning of them. If you're a beginner, I definitely recommend that if you have trees like this growing wherever you are in the world, there's always some sort of tree that grows like a weed. And I was forever picking these out of my other trees out. I still do. They're always growing in the pots of other trees, popping up here, there and everywhere. And I was always pulling them out, and then I think the best thing to do is just embrace it. If they grow here wild and they're happy to grow in any kind of conditions that you have wherever you're from, then they're always a good tree to work with, because you know they're good in your wherever country you are or whatever climate you have. And because these grow so well here, then I know that I may as well make a forest out of them. The reason why I made a forest out of them is because individually they're not great trees. As you can see, they're all a bit kind of weird shapes and stuff, but as a forest it works, especially when it's in leaf. And the good thing about it is, because they grow so prolific around the place, take out the boar now while we work on this, they're easily replaced. If you lose a tree or anything like that, you can just replace it easily with a new one. Or if you want to put more trees in, they're easy to come by, and like that you can get them in all different sizes, because if they grow wild, chances are you can find them in every different shape and size. Okay, so we're going to give the landscape a bit of a cleaning now as well. The sedum is getting a bit crazy now, so I'm thinking maybe it's time to reduce this right back. It's growing a bit too heavy and strong, so I'm going to take that out. Take out that big bit maybe. We'll leave these smaller bits, we'll just trim them back. Leave a little bit down here. There's a couple of other bits around here we can leave. And again, we'll get rid of all this old moss off it. It's all full of weeds now and stuff, so it's just as easy to just replace the whole lot. This time of the year over here in Ireland, where we get so much rain and stuff, we're not short of moss. It's starting to grow everywhere now, so there's no excuse not to have some nice clean moss on your landscapes. Get rid of all these dead leaves and stuff out of there as well. I'm going to cut that piece of sedum off, take that out. All this. You see little growths like that, we're living in the dead vegetation at the bottom. Get it all out, and like that, all these trees I'll be spraying. I spray everything together when I have my trees already. I go around and I just spray the whole lot, benches, the whole everything, all together. Rather than do one tree at a time, I just fill up one of them big pressure sprayers, just spray everything. Just spray everything Okay, so I'll go over the whole landscape and we'll clean it off, and then we'll come back then and start putting on some nice new moss. Okay, so we have all the landscape now cleared off, and a lot of people might say, yeah, just leave it like that, which is okay for the winter to leave it like that. A lot of people might prefer it just to be left, but to me, the trees themselves in the winter, they don't look great. So the least you want to do is be able to look at it and then have a bit of a nice landscape going on. So otherwise, to me, it would just kind of, I'd just forget about this for the winter. If we didn't have a bit of a landscape going, it would just be put on the back of the bench and just left and forgotten about. So at least if I put a landscape on it, it gives me something to work on over the winter and keep checking and doing stuff on it, rather than just forgetting about it for the whole time, because I wouldn't enjoy looking at it like this, just all bare. So that being said, I'm going to, first of all, I want to clean off the trunks, get all this moss off it, and then we'll work on the landscape, remossing it and stuff. So that's just rainwater. Just give them a scrubbing down. You can see how this tree, the bark on this tree, and even these trees compared to, and this one compared to these are kind of newer, younger trees, even though that's as thick, not thicker than that one, but still younger, and it's more of a green than you get this kind of a grey brown bark on them when they get a bit older. This one back here needs doing as well. And like I said, if you prefer just to get your trees prepared for winter, get them like this, give it a spray in and leave it. That's fair enough. It's just I prefer not to. I like to have a little bit of a landscape, so I can at least enjoy looking at the landscape, even if I can't really enjoy looking at the trees when they're like this. Okay, so that is all clean now, so we're basically ready to put some moss in. So we'll have to think about where we're going to go with our path, so I'll do that first. Okay, so again, I've got this sieved soil. It's just all macadamia and hummus and stuff that I've sieved. This is all the dust basically that's come out of it, so we'll use that for our path. So wasting it. So I think we'll go with the path through here. I'll put down roughly down the path first, and then we'll put the moss on, and then we can always add more to the paths afterwards. So if we have a path coming through that way, we always kind of had a path coming along here, along the edge of this stone, and out the front here, something like that. And I think I'll put a path up here on the top of the rock, coming towards this edge. This is where our boar goes, so wild boar. So you can have a path coming up here, and then we'll just bring them paths together through here like that. And that should do for our paths. So that's roughly where our paths are now. Let's see if I bring the camera up a little bit higher. Tilt it down, might give you a little bit more of a better view. Okay, so we'll just move that out of the way for a minute. We're bringing our tray of moss. I collected a bit more moss now today. So we've got some nice kind of lumpy moss like this. It's collected off a shed roof, so there's very little soil, if any soil at all, on it. So put some of this around, maybe put a bit of that in there. I want to kind of go in amongst the roots here to kind of emphasize the roots a bit. Baby slug. Go a little bit here at the back. Put that in like that, then it helps you see the roots a bit better of the tree. And we also collected a few little ferns as well. So maybe we'll stick a few of them in around the place. Maybe if I put more of this soil. On the edge of this rock. I can use that then to plant the ferns into. So just shove a couple of ferns in there. Here maybe. Maybe we can put one over here, a big one, in this gap. Again, before I do, I'll just put another bit of that soil down. Work on the moss again, filling in. Here we put that over there. So look now, what else have we got here? There. A few small bits. Good thing about this moss is it doesn't tend to climb like the other stuff. Like this kind of moss climbs up things and up your trees and stuff. So maybe with this one kind of looks like tiny ferns or something. So we'll put some of this in. Put a bit here in this front bit here, amongst that other moss. some up here, just to give you a bit of a variety of moss. You don't want it all the same. And then you also have some kind of fine, thin moss, which we can just put in to fill in the little gaps. And flatten it out like that. Put another bit in this corner here, just under this fern a bit. Let's take out this leaf of this fern that's just crossing our path. The path is a bit clear if we can. What we could do is maybe put tiny fern at the front of the path here. Over to this side, a bit of a path there. Again, maybe we'll use some of this. Maybe we'll use some of this one now this time. It's a different one again. Just fill in here. The worm, we'll leave him in there. Okay. So around this side now, I've got some of this kind of sheets of stuff we can maybe fill in a bit with that. Just rip it and then push it back in there. Just put a bit of this stuff this way. Like that. You just got to keep your eye on the trunks, keep the moss from growing on them. See it growing on it, just take it off. Got some of this very thin stuff. Put some of that over this way. Some of this moss will do better than others, because some of it will be more shade moss and others will be more prefer to grow in the sun. So you will get different moss grow in different ways. We'll put another little fern back here somewhere. The tree there's. Just stick a fern in here next to the path, just to kind of break it up a bit. Need some moss in here beside the tree. Big piece in here. Stick another fern in there, I think. Maybe this kind of different fern. I collect these ferns out of little stone walls. Grow around where I work. So it's nice to have a little couple of ferns in them and here and there. Okay. So to work on the back here. Now the back we don't have to be as fussy, we just want to kind of put kind of sheets of it just to hold the soil from washing away. Starting to look okay now. Like I said, it's a kind of personal preference whether you want to bother doing things like this time of year. I just enjoy doing it, and I enjoy having my trees looking the best, and at the moment the actual trees themselves are not looking the best, so try and at least make the landscape look some way nice. This bit now at the back here, and don't want to use good stuff at the back, keep that for another planting. Just use this stuff here. Okay, just one more kind of lumpy bit if we have it. This bit here should do. Stick him in there. We need a bit on this edge, we don't want the edge to be bare against the rock here. So put this bit on here. Kind of looks like ferns, so, and that'll grow up and over the rocks as well. Okay, let's have a look now from the front. Yeah, it's all starting to look a little bit better. A bit in there. We still have a couple of ferns, maybe we could stick them in somewhere. May as well put them in. We'll put one in here. On the edge here, if I can. There. And is that it for ferns? I think it is. Yeah, that's all the ferns we've got. Okay, so I'll just move the tray of moss out the way. Okay, so all that's left to do now is we'll just give the path a little watering in. I've given up on my spray bottles for watering in. Jobs like this, they just don't want to work right for me, so we'll go with this. Have my tray under it, so at least the water will go into the tray. Okay, that should do it. Once that all starts growing, it should look pretty good. And oh, one last thing, better put our ball back in. Put him back up there. He's looking around. So to me anyway, like I said, different people have different ideas of wintering trees, but to me, I'd much prefer, you know, when I'm walking around looking at my trees in the garden, like I said, to look at these trees, they're not great now, but at least if you make a bit of a nice landscape, it keeps your interest in more in the actual trees and stuff, and you can still do a bit of work on it, keeping the landscape clean rather than just waiting for spring to come. So I'll just give you a little turn of it round so you can see the moss on the rock has grown really well. Looks really natural now. It's practically covering the rock. I could actually maybe do a bit of cleaning on it, take some of the moss off because you can barely see the rock in places, but it's natural looking, and that's what we want. Our paths, I do like using that sieve stuff. I think it looks more natural than sand and things. It seems to, it's like different colour browns and that, so yeah, for forests anyway it looks good. Like I said, at the back here you don't have to worry too much about what moss you use. It's just to hold the soil because you don't want it all washing away off the roots, because this tree that's planted on top of that rock, if it over the winter all the rain will just keep washing the soil away, so at least we can hold the soil with that. And like that, just vary the moss where you can. It just adds a little bit more character if it, rather than having all the same moss over the whole landscape. It tends to look a bit like a carpet then, or a mowed lawn. Okay, so that's about it for this one. We can put this one back out on the bench, and like I say, we can enjoy looking at it now. Keep enjoy looking at it over the winter. So as always guys, don't forget to like and subscribe, really helps, and any comments is appreciated. I like to hear what people think, get their comments and that. And that's about it for this one, so thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.